If I airdrop myself to a different place and all I had was my savings as a runway and my network, could I figure out how to bring myself to new heights? I quit my well paid tech consulting job to move to Colombia for a few months to figure out how to design my best life. I don't really have bad things to say about my previous employer. I traded great pay and great benefits, great work life balance, and an overall great opportunity for something totally risky and unknown. But here's some background context. For the last 4.5 years, I was advising multi-billion-dollar corporations on emerging technologies like Web3, VR, AR, AI. I built and facilitated strategy sessions, and I conducted research on how different industries approach innovation. Although the work was interesting and I was really good at my job, or at least I think so, I kept feeling like something was missing. I had explored other opportunities internally and externally, and I even received offers in Paris and Singapore. But things just didn't feel quite right, so I turned them down. Eventually, I said, I need to take a big step back, put myself in a new environment, and force myself to think differently. I could have stayed in Montreal, but being surrounded by the same people and the same things would have produced more of the same results. I wanted to expose my brain to new environments so that I can view things differently and generate new ideas. So, why Colombia? Well, before social media became what it is today with travel influencers and passport bros, I learned about Colombia through Google Images from some Colombian friends. Since that moment, I've always wanted to go. And I finally had the opportunity in June 2024 for a solo trip. And I grew a lot on that trip. And so much so that I even went back in December 2024 with friends and I felt a little bit more at home. So it was only natural for me to embark on this adventure in Colombia once again, because while it's still a new environment, there's enough familiarity for me to feel comfortable enough. Being immersed in a new environment, your brain is constantly being tested. Everything you think is normal is actually being challenged. From simple things like crossing the street to going to the grocery store to bigger things like going to events. You're trying to get a lay of the land and its norms. We often hear successful people say things like, if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd be able to gain it back. When I hear that, part of me always says, okay, like let's see it. I actually want to see you do it all over again. And I'm not being a hater. There is no doubt in my mind that these people are smart and highly capable. But it also made me wonder, if I were to restart, would I be able to go even further than where I was before? If I airdrop myself to a different place and all I had was my savings as a runway and my network, could I figure out how to bring myself to new heights? The goals I have, I can't achieve them following someone else's path. I need to forge my own, or at least die trying. Like, it sounds serious, but that's how seriously committed I am. One of the biggest realizations I've had so far, and I've only been here a month, is that I had outsourced my decision making to a system. A very simple example is crossing the street. Back at home in Montreal, there is a pedestrian light almost everywhere. And if there isn't, well, pedestrians have priority. This is great because it helps everyone, including the most vulnerable people, cross the street safely. But I also realized that I was mindlessly relying on a system to tell me when to cross the street. In Colombia, yes, there are pedestrian lights at major intersections or areas with a lot of pedestrians. But there are many more spots without it. And you gotta cross when there are no cars, or you have to impose your presence so they slow down. I have not seen one person cross the street while looking down at their phone. You just can't do that. The first few days, as stupid as it sounds, it caused me a little stress, and I seriously asked myself while I was at the intersection, how do I cross this street? If I'm so dependent on someone else, or in this case, something else, to tell me when and when not to cross, how could I expect myself to make decisions about my life with all of its variables? Now, I'm not saying to go out and jaywalk and forget all notions of safety, but it's about bringing awareness to how my mind had been operating and taking back control in order to give myself the option to choose. As small as that is, it has also helped me realize and reevaluate other things that I had just left on autopilot or had delegated to someone else or something else. And in case you were wondering, I feel much more comfortable now crossing the streets all on my own. I came out here without a plan, but that doesn't mean I came here blind. I gave myself two rules that guide nearly every decision I make while I'm out here. Rule number one, leave no weapon unused. It's similar to the idea of leaving no stone unturned. I'll paraphrase this quote I heard somewhere where the person was saying that in a battle for life and death, don't die with a weapon remaining to be used. In other words, if you're fighting for something, give it everything you got until you have nothing left. When I get on the plane to come back to Canada, no matter what the outcome of this trip is, while I'm sitting on that chair, there will be no, oh, I wish I tried this, or what if I had tried that. I will exhaust all my options in my control, all weapons in my arsenal, and if I come home empty-handed, it's because the gas tank of ideas is also empty. Rule number two, if I don't want to do something, it means I'm going to have to do it. The purpose of this trip is to get myself out of my comfort zone. That means doing things that will feel uncomfortable. Filming this video feels uncomfortable. Building a personal online brand feels uncomfortable to me. And because these things feel uncomfortable, I must do them in order to satisfy rule number one. So while I didn't come here with a strategy or a plan for how I was going to achieve certain objectives, I have rules that I will stick by. And those rules will force me towards experiences. And those experiences will force me to figure things out. And hopefully, I would have figured enough things out so that I don't have to move back into my parents' place when I come home. You've probably heard the quote, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, meaning that it's only in hindsight, when you're looking back at everything that happened, that you understand why things happened the way they did.
Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever.
There's another quote that I heard on a podcast that I really like, and it goes, if you can't connect the dots looking backwards, it means you need to collect more dots. And in this case, dots equals experiences. We're so used to getting answers we want instantly with Google, ChatGPT, and our Amazon orders within 24 to 48 hours that we think it applies to life as well, or at least I did. In order to get the answers I want out of life, I need to live life by engaging in experiences, and in other words, collecting dots. So right now I'm in my dot collecting era. I'm collecting experiences, highs, lows, moments, in order to make sense of them and connect them later on when I look back. The biggest challenge for me so far, and what I think will continue to be my biggest challenge, isn't the loneliness that comes with solo travel. It's fear. Fear that nothing will come out of this, fear that I will run through my savings and come home broke as a joke. But to me, fear is like fire. It has the potential to be destructive and amazing. If you let a fire or your fear run uncontrollably wild, it will wreck you and everything in its path. But if you find a way to control that fire and that fear, you can use that to propel a rocket and yourself to new territories and discoveries. And that's what I'm working on. I'm not trying to eliminate fear. I'm learning how to better channel it, control it, and use it to propel me somewhere higher, somewhere new. So I hope this story ignites something within you to make a change for something better, or if you're already in the place you want to be, I hope this helps confirm that place for you. I'll be sharing more about my travel, business strategy, and if any of that interests you, I hope you follow along for the ride.